I am a queen of all she sees. My court is comprised of, well, you can hear her, Lady Sniffsalot, and then there is Prince Purrsalot, as well as Princess who thinks she's queen. Yes. It is a good thing the princess who thinks she's queen is smaller than I am, otherwise we might have a problem. And Lady Sniffsalot has an awful tendency of squeaking her toys when I am trying to speak. When we are trying to speak. I have tried to explain to her that we, as a royal presence, deserve silence when we speak, as a sign of respect, to give benefits to our lovely royal personages. But you can hear, she completely ignores me. I don't know why I don't throw her out of the kingdom. I should ponder that. But if I threw her out of the kingdom, I would only have 2 people in my court. Creatures in my court. It might be very lonely indeed. Only 2 creatures. I will have to ponder that. Yes. Well, anyway, the reason I am here, I am in search of my king. Yes. King of all he sees. You see, together, queen of all she sees and king of all he sees, together we could be unstoppable. Makes my heart beat a bit faster just to think of it. And maybe he would buy me a larger crown. Not that I don't love my current crown. It was given to me by dear Mamma before she passed away tragically. Tripped over a penguin. Can you imagine that? Tripped over a penguin. Came out of nowhere. Suddenly there was this penguin. She tripped. Knocked herself right on the head. It was a ghastly sight. It still haunts me at night sometimes. Yes. Well, dear Papa. I don't even like to speak about the incident. Let us just say that the former king and queen met with untimely and somewhat horrifying demises. That is why, you see, I do not leave my castle. For if I do not leave my castle, I will live a long, healthy life and not meet with an untimely or gruesome demise like my parents. Do you see this? Yes. It's a perfectly sound plan. The only problem, of course, with this is that it is very difficult to find a king. How does one find a king when one is not trapped exactly, for it is a choice, it is a decision, a smart, intelligent decision, one of royal carriage, a decision of royal carriage, yes. You see, but, alas, they've been having the most difficult time finding a king. Sometimes I look through the peephole of my castle and watch people going by, thinking that perhaps I could find a king that way. However, no man I've seen passing looks to be of, well, proper kingly status, if you will. So, we sit here, alone. Well, that's not quite right. I do have my court around me, but you see why I might be somewhat, well, reticent, if you will, to ask Lady Sniffsalot to leave. She's the newest addition to my court. She and the prince and princess do not always get along so well, but they have not taken daggers to one another yet, so I suppose it is quite alright. One can't expect everything to be perfectly smooth. There must be a bit of drama in life. Oh, I'm getting distracted, however. Back to what I was was saying, so, I have decided I will film this and I will send it out into the world in the hopes that my king shall see it and will come to me. Well, he'll know my castle, of course. It is the grandest in the land. All you have to do is simply ask anyone. Anyone, any bird, any passing creature, where Queen of all she sees resides, and he will be guided directly to me. But let me think, let me think, let me think. Now I do have a few requests for said king. Let me see, well, he must, of course, he must approve of my court. My court is very dear to me, even if I do get irritated with him sometimes. Well, so, he must, absolutely must, be all right with Prince Purrsalot, princess who thinks she's queen, and Lady Sniffsalot. And let me see what else. Oh, yes. It is preferable if he's hairy like a bear. You see, that way, when winter comes, he doesn't even need to wear a sweater. He already has it built in. And, well, I would like him to be of an intellectual nature, but not too intellectual. I would not wish to feel stupid. I mean, not that I can imagine feeling thusly, but, oh, that might be quite dreadful. Yes, not too intellectual. I would love it if he had a high, lilting voice. Perhaps like this, that lilted a bit. Don't you think that would be simply divine? And let me think what else. Yes, it would be lovely if he had a white steed. I've always been partial to white steeds. That way, well, he could ride it into my castle hallway. I could peer through the peephole, see that he is on his white steed, and know that he had come to be my king. Oh, that is simply divine. Now, while this is tragic, it is imperative that he is an orphan. I will have none of this competing, none of this thinking that my it's quite odd. It's flashing at me and I can't quite understand it. But I won't compete with his family, you see. He has no family on my end to worry about, so it is very important that the future Sir King of all he sees does not have family. That way, it can simply be the two of us, forever. The dream, really. And, tragically, there is to be no offspring. The kingdom of all they see will come to an end upon our demise. You see, I have decided that unfortunate demises that are untimely and gruesome run in my family. I did not tell you. I had a sister and a younger brother. Both of them met with horrible demises when they were, well, but young children. Well, my sister had reached an age where I suppose she could have been called a young lady, but nevertheless, they were very young, very gruesome. Oh dear. Well, no, I can't talk about the lawnmower incident. Oh, simply too much for anyone to bear. I put that away in a little box in the corner of our mind. Other requirements. So, no children, no family, natural sweater, and a high lilting voice. white steed, but that's optional really. That's more of a bonus, if you will. Oh, now look at my crown. You see this? Yes. It would be lovely if he had an heirloom crown given to him by his mother that was slightly larger than my own. It's not that I am invested in material things. However, I've worn this small crown for some time, and it might be nice to have an upgrade, if you will. So, also, he must have orange hair. No, and I'm not talking auburn, I'm talking orange. Right, we all know what that means. I've seen some very dashing... Oh, utterly rude! Can you believe that? Oh. Well, I suppose now at least I know what those flashing little lights mean. Well, as I was saying, to continue my list, he must have orange hair. You know, this is why it is so difficult when I look through my peephole to find a man who could be king. No men with orange hair ever pass through the hallways of my castle. I would prefer broad shoulders. Not horribly tall. Well, I am only 6'2", so you see, probably 6'5" at the least. Do you know? And I do like a well-defined nose and chin. Yes, he must have a chin. None of that. Well, you know, those chins that aren't quite chins. And I would like it if his eyes were copper-coloured. Wouldn't that be lovely? Copper-coloured. Yes. So, I'm putting this out into the world. I will await the response. I am quite certain that my king... No. He must also be able to pass a test of royalty. You understand? A test of royalty. Perhaps familiarity with the princess and the pea might be in order. I might recommend that to him if I were you and you thought he would make a wonderful king of all he sees. Now, yes, he must be literate, but not too literate. I don't want to have read more than we have. It would be simply appalling. And he must watch no more than precisely 1.5 hours of television every day. No more than that. After that, your brain simply starts to decay and fall out your ears. If you were dashing, that would be lovely. I hate to say it, but father was rather... Well, honestly, he rather looked as though someone had squished him when he came out. I know, very indelicate, should not be speaking of that. Such things, probably dear papa. But he's not a very handsome man. Mamma, on the other hand, was quite lovely. I always did wonder how the two of them came together. But I never knew how to phrase that question without seeming horribly rude. And royalty, of course, is never rude. Unless it's called for. In which case, then you're rude as you want to be, because you are royal, after all. Well, and it is important that he not desire to go adventuring in the world. He must be willing to join me in my castle. We've an entire kingdom before us. Why would you need to go out, really? I mean, out there are people. Aside from us, of course. And creatures we don't know, and possibly diseases and plagues and or maybe even a famine. How should I know? I haven't been out in years. Mummy and Daddy thought it better. Well, and they were right, that I stay in the castle. The castle is safe and beautiful. Why would I want to leave the castle? The tapestries, the knights in shining armour. Well, not. Do you know the suits of armour? I used to make up stories when I was but a girl. They were knights, there to protect me if I needed them. So, yes. Oh, I do hope you find him and send him to me. And then he'll be the king and queen of all we see. Oh, I shall dream upon that tonight. Put that little wish underneath my pillow. Hold it close to my heart. Perhaps on the morrow when I wake, he will be there, waiting for me,